anyways, Zach Leonetti, one of our loyal listeners, he actually sent over something right before we started recording, and it got us thinking. We have to answer this. Could the best XFL team beat the Georgia Bulldogs? And for the sake of this argument, I'm at least going to use the St. Louis Battlehawks because A.J. McCarron, to the naked eye, feels like the best quarterback in this league right now. So let's pose the question. Who wins a game between the St. Louis Battlehawks and the Georgia Bulldogs? Steven, let's go to you first. Who do you have?
Give me UGA all day. The XFL has talented players. For the favor of really, really, really that talented, they'd at minimum be on a practice squad of an NFL team. Look at A.J. McCarron. The dude is not even on a practice squad for an NFL team. And we're expect to have him lead a group of no-names into beating Georgia. Now, of course, Georgia, they're going to have age against them on here, right? But their top guys are going to be studs. There's going to be a lot of question marks outside of that. But I kind of want to look at the coaching staffs as well. I feel like the coaching staff for Georgia right now would be better than the XFL. Watching XFL, it looks wildly unorganized. It's not a good brand of football. And it's not like you're watching all these great defenses going up against each other. No, these are just inept offenses that can't really move the ball. And then if they have a slight flash in the pan, like an A.J. McCarron did, well, when they won on that crazy last quarter drive, whatever it may be to win the game, it's just not moving it for me. Like you're putting up 12 points. That is the product of where NFL players are coming from. A majority of them are coming from the SEC. The other half are probably coming from the Big Ten. I just think Georgia would be way too powerful right now. They had 5 first-rounders just last year. They're probably going to have another 3 to 4 to 5 this year. I just think that they're too loaded, and the XFL just doesn't have that talent.
Hear me out. They do have that talent because I think there are some former first-rounders in the XFL. First-rounders mean nothing. Half the first-rounders don't even make a 3-year NFL career. Some of them are Hall of Famers. Some of them are, 20-year vets. Some of them don't even last in the NFL. So to me, that's not a good argument. How many active players in the NFL do you think are from Georgia? If I asked you that question, how many do you think the number would be? In
the NFL right now from Georgia?
Yeah. 32.
From the university, not the state.
I think that Steven just had a pretty good guess. I'm going to say 34.
51.
Okay.
So on average, on average, the top probably 30 to 40 programs probably have about 30 of each. Alabama and Ohio State clear the crowd with over 60. But Georgia's 4th with 51 active players. Now that stretches all the way back to Matt Stafford in 2009. So you're telling me that one roster is going to, on average, be worlds above a collection of college players who are on the fringe of the top 1% of players in the world? Here's the thing. Top end talent, Georgia by far better than the XFL team, but I still think on average, depth, the whole roster, and probably the quality of coaching is probably similar level, to be honest. I think I take the XFL team.
I'm actually with you, and this is a case-by-case basis, where if you win on every single NCAA champion, perhaps we have different opinion on some. But because Stetson Bennett is the quarterback for the Georgia team in question here, he's a guy that is very likely not going to have a very long career. I don't know, he's kind of almost got like a Kellen Moore where he's going to be a backup for like 3, 4, 5 years. Smart guy. He'll be around the game if he wants to be. But at the end of the day, he's not that high-level player. To your point, David, the top-level talent on Georgia is going to be better than the top-level talent of the XFL. But I think it's a deeper team on the XFL. It's more battle-tested. It's a team that has played professional football. A lot of these people are washed-out NFL players or guys that just didn't make it, and now they're hungry to have a chance. Like A.J. McCarron, for instance, he had opportunities to be a backup in the NFL and elected to play in the XFL because it would give him a better opportunity to get a better job in the future. He also talked about wanting to play football for his kids, like his kids would actually remember it. It'd be better than him being a backup somewhere.
You want your kids to remember you as an XFL quarterback? Oh man, that's sad. How do you turn down being a backup in the NFL to go to the XFL to get yourself a better job when your best job you're going to get is a backup quarterback in the NFL?
Because
That makes no sense.
10 out of 10 and doesn't care what you do for a living as long as you're home with the kids.
That means nothing. She's probably
Inside
making more
of
money
5
than
years
him as
ago.
modeling.
Inside of 5 years ago, there was an NFL head coach. I already hear this from David and his buddies, but there was an NFL head coach that was willing to trade a first and a second round pick for AJ McCarron. And that was inside 5 years ago. My entire point is that this is a much more talented roster than we give it credit for. If you made me guess what odds makers would make the line, I think it would probably be something like in between 2.5 one way or another, but I would take the Battlehawks to win the game. And I think I'd take them to cover, whether they're -2.5 or +2.5, just because I do think that it means something to have experience and to have that professional football, I guess, like under your belt. Where Georgia, yeah, they had to beat some really good teams. They're also playing Citadel in Chattanooga in the same year. So I'm taking the experience every day.